All right, Olga, what you got for us?
Nobody ever talks about that some of the lowest value guys are actually attractive. They're used to girls giving them attention, so they're used to getting all this external validation. They're used to getting with a bunch of girls, so they don't really need or want a relationship. They barely put in any effort because they're like, I'm just attractive, whatever. And they just are not the type of men that will make good husbands, fathers. Like, they are so used to women catering to them, giving them attention, that they really lack in the romance department.
So this can be said for all attractive people, right? Because they don't need to try. Because vanity alone is enough to get other people interested in them. Obvious, right? It's not necessarily particular to men or women, right? But it is true in this case. Yeah, guys that are attractive, they don't understand, but quite often not for the reasons that this girl is talking about. There obviously are cases of guys where they're super attractive and they do whatever they want, which is fair. On the flip side, there are a lot of attractive guys that can get the attention of women, but they can't retain them because they don't understand how either. Kind of an interesting phenomenon. In this case, though, instead of talking to guys about it, what you need to do is you need to understand that girls are the ones that are perpetuating this issue to start with, right? If you're a guy and you have tons of options, you can do whatever you want. We don't have to like the reality of that. I know a lot of people want to put in the morality always, like, oh, but you still got to do this and this, and you should still want a relationship and all this stuff, right? I mean, you can't force somebody to want something that they don't need, right? You can try your best, you can complain about it, you can say how, oh, but they should want that, right? But now you're putting standards onto somebody else because you're not getting what you want out of them for your own selfish needs. This is the nature of how this works. So instead of talking about how those guys are getting tons of attention, I guess girls need to not be as attracted to those guys. The sad part is, this will likely never happen. The very fact that that guy acts that way is exactly what makes him attractive in the first place. This is one of those stark realities that a lot of girls don't want to accept. Logically, that is. Of course, emotionally, they have no problem accepting it. The fact that there's a little bit of competition at play also makes it more intriguing. Now it's something to be won. Ultimately, that guy has all of the leverage to do what he wants to do. And whether you like it or not, this is the optimal position to be in as a guy. It's only from this position that you can see everything for what it is, because you're not blinded by any form of scarcity. The same is true for hyper-attractive women that get a disproportionate amount of attention from men. They're going to use that leverage to their advantage, and they have been more and more since the introduction of social media. This is also why you have this idea of this hotness creep, right? Girls that otherwise seen as barely above average can position themselves extremely well on social media and then also get that disproportionate amount of attention online. They acquire a greater sense of self and now feel that they can be more choosy to find the most optimal partner. This is basic human dynamics, nothing new. So we can complain about it all day and say it's not fair. It's just the reality.
And a lot of the times, because they're good looking, they don't want to work hard. They're used to just getting what they want. And a lot of them don't have good work ethic. Am I the only one that notices this?
So there's definitely a little bit of a correlation there. She's not completely wrong. But the one thing I will say is that as a guy, if you're hyper attractive, it doesn't necessarily do that much for you. Being attractive as a guy is cool and all, but you still have to do a bunch of work. In some areas, life can come a little bit easier too, but it's still not the end-all be-all. In the end, guys are judged based on their performance ability, not on their vanity. This is also why some of the most notable guys we know about success-wise are not the most attractive. Yet, everybody still knows about them and their achievements. Meanwhile, when you flip it to women, women are much more recognized on their beauty versus their achievements. Of course, on a surface level, this, like many other things, seems very unflattering. The truth is, though, we only ever notice the hyper-successful few. This, of course, applies to any industry everywhere. If there's 1,000 people in an industry that are contributing to some sort of development, you're probably only going to know about 2 of them, the top 2. This is simply the nature of how it works. The most hyper-successful people on earth are typically men, and the most beautiful people are typically women. If you like this video, like and subscribe. If you want to see more of my private content, don't forget to check the links in the description below.